Welcome back to the Aquarius training video series on the Location Manager. In previous videos, we've seen how to set up derived calculated data sets like this one here, in which we have Aquarius server dynamically calculate a new time series by running a formula on one or more time series within that same location. In this video, I'll show you how you can create a derived calculated data set that uses data sets which are located in other locations. There are many applications for this. For instance, you might use a climate station's atmospheric pressure data to correct an unvented water level logger at a stream gauging site. Or you might use a lake gauge as the water level source for a rating curve at the lake outlet. For this application, let's imagine we have a reservoir location and three river gauging sites where we're measuring the discharge. And we're going to calculate the total flow from these as they contribute to that reservoir. You'll see at this first inflow site, I have a calculated discharge time series. It looks like that. So basically, all I'm going to do is add up the discharge from each of those three sites and produce a total discharge in the reservoir location. So I'll go into my reservoir location, open up Location Manager, go to my Datasets tab, and I'll create a new calculated derived time series. I'll just put a label on this new time series. I'll call it total. I'll set the parameter to discharge because I am going to be calculating a total flow. I'll set the unit to cubic meters per second, or cubic feet per second, I should say. And I'm going to add three inputs for this derived calculated time series. And I'll add them up with a formula like this. I'll set a gap tolerance. I'll set 15 minutes just because I know that my inputs will have that same gap tolerance. And I'll set the first input here. And instead of using data sets within my current location, I'm going to change that location to the inflow A site, and I'll use its calculated discharge time series. Similarly, for the second input, I'll change my location to the second inflow site and use its calculated time series. And finally, I'll choose that third inflow site and the discharge time series there. So I'm going to add them all up with this formula here. I'll just validate that one, and that looks good. And that's how I'd set up this derived time series. So as with any derived time series, if any of the data in these inputs should change, the Aquarius server will dynamically recalculate this time series. Okay, so I'll just save out of Location Manager here, and we'll see what my output looks like. There's my new derived time series. What I'll do is I'll just go back and select all of the locations in my group here, display all their data sets. I'll just filter them to show only those that are discharge time series. And I'll just select all four of those, load them into Quick View. And now we can clearly see that my calculated discharge down here is the sum of those three inflow time series.